Welcome, welcome. We're talking about a tough topic today. And it has to deal with business decisions and the emotional cycle that we can find ourselves when we have to set boundaries or we have to redraw lines, right, as business owners. And the self-doubt that can creep in when people question your boundaries or when they try to push against that new set of rules that you've put to practice in your business. And so what I thought we could do today is talk about the emotional journey that we go on as small business owners. Because a couple weeks, oops, there we go. I'm having trouble with my cameras today, so if I seem slightly distracted right here, it's because I cannot get my eyeglasses to work. So I'm a little frustrated. But back to the topic. So a few days ago, I shared a graphic that went through the emotional journey of becoming a business owner. And in this graphic, it started out with, hey, I have this idea. I'm going to open up a piano studio or voice studio. It's going to be great. I'll never have to answer to another boss again. And then that was like the positive part, right? And then it would go down to that self-doubt. And that self-doubt was, this is a little harder than I thought to get all these students that I need. And then we'd flip back to the other side and that positivity would come back in. Oh, okay, yay. Now maybe I should just lower my rates and get a whole bunch of new students. And so I did this. And so the emotional journey kept going through this cycle of brand new idea. Yay, I'm totally going to implement this and put this into practice in my business. And then the self-doubt creeping in. If you've ever experienced that emotional journey and you're feeling brave, let me know. Hey there, Meredith. Hey there, Laura. Nice to see you both this morning. If you're tuning in live or later on, if you're watching this a couple weeks down the road, know that I'm always looking for those comments that come through. Please be sure to say hello and let me know where you're tuning in from. I would love to know about you and your studio and whether or not you've ever experienced this flip-floppy emotional journey, because I know it's definitely been a part of my journey as a business owner, and I'm guessing it's probably part of yours too. So, good morning. Hey, Christy and Cindy Lou. Yeah, you're catching me live. Cindy Lou, that's awesome. Cindy Lou is tuning in from New Zealand. How cool is that? And Dawn Marie, nice to see you as well. Again, apologies for the goofy cameras this morning. When I click over to my other camera, it just doesn't work at all. So I will figure that out at another time. But welcome to the broadcast. If you've never been here before, my name is Sarah Campbell, and I am a business coach and strategist and mindset coach for music studio owners and online music business owners just like you. And every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern, I go live here on the business page to share business strategy ideas, different ways to run your studio and mindset tips so that you can focus more on making a difference in the world and less on worrying about your business. So welcome to the broadcast. Nice to see you here. Laura, Laura says, I am on the roller coaster as we speak. So I hear you. Elizabeth saying greetings from Central New York, and she's riding the roller coaster with Laura. Well, at least you got a buddy. Christy saying, oh, heck yeah. Hey, nice to see you, Micheline. I know I just pronounced that wrong because I'm totally today because of this camera issue. It is so lovely to see you, and I cannot wait to chat with you on Thursday. All right, guys, let's get to the goods. Topic of the day. Stopping the self-doubt cycle. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about, first off, what is that self-doubt cycle? What does it look like? Learning how to recognize it, right? We're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about simple solutions that we can start to implement so that we can break that cycle and move forward with confidence and courage. Because, and you know what? This is something that I've learned. It's something that you always have to do. This is not a one-time fix. And I know that that can be frustrating because we might feel like, I thought that I had found my pair of brave pants and that I had figured this out. But you know what? It's okay if self-doubt creeps in every once in a while. It's natural. It's part of being human. And it's okay to have to implement these steps more than once. It's okay to have to implement them more than 10 times. It means you're human. So welcome. Hey, there's Cindy Lou is saying, good thing I love roller coasters. Right? Exactly. Thank you, Cindy Lou, for putting a positive spin on that, because it's about embracing the journey, right? And Pat Crane is tuning in from Lake Forest. Julie says she's been on the roller coaster and she's now trying out all the rides. You guys are great. All right, so here's what we have today. I'm going to give you 3 tips to help get rid of that self-doubt. And, ooh, by the way, I've got the bot set up. At least some of my technology is working today. I've got the bot set up to send you 3 different things today. First off, she's going to send you a link to my email list, because if you are not on the email list, you're going to be missing out, because some really cool things are going to be rolled out in 2020. So get thee to the list, my friend. Second, she's going to send you a blog post that I wrote. I had a ton of fun writing this post last week, and I really hope that you guys enjoy it. It's a little bit of my personal story about my journey of becoming a business loving studio owner. And then third, what is she sending you third? Oh, it's information about some social media post things. So it's all good stuff. If you want to get a hold of that now before you forget, then I want you to drop a doubt below. And the coach Sarah bot, she will send you something in Messenger, and then you have to respond to her there, and she'll give you the goods. All right? So drop that doubt below, and you'll get all the goods that are associated with this broadcast. So let's get to the goods. There's my cat, right on cue. Fabulous. All right, Cindy's saying, I so relate, scrambling feels like the current ride. And Jimmy, good morning. Nice to see you. Oh, how are you doing? How are your preschool classes going? Been thinking about you. All right. Let's get to it. When self-doubt creeps in. All right, so, I can see Grizabella creeping up behind me. Hello, there's my cat. Everybody say hi to Grizabella. Yes, she's named after the C.S. Lewis poem. And yes, she is way cooler than the movie. I hear you. Yeah, thank you. She wants to chime in today. All right. We're just going to have to deal with this today. It's fine. Everything's fine. I feel like that dog where everything's on fire. And he's saying, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Okay. All right. I'm getting distracted. So what does it look like when self-doubt creeps in? It can happen at so many different phases during our business, right? It can happen at the beginning when you're just building and you are trying to, you're trying to get a lot of people into your studio and you're struggling. And maybe you... instead of sticking to your guns with the rules that you've set, you may relax them to a point to get more people in, right? So that can be part of that self-doubt, right? Just questioning these decisions that you've set at the beginning of your broadcast. I'm seeing all of you guys coming in with these comments. Okay, we're just going to pause for a second and celebrate. Yep, Grizz is a total sweetheart. She is amazing. Why is this thing in the way? And this is not expanding. Yay, she is a sweetheart, and I love her dearly. And Kate is dropping all the hearts, because Kate, I love you dearly, and I know that we both love cats. When we chat, our cats like to come and chat to each other. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, exactly. Cindy Lou, everything's fine. It's all good. Okay, but let's get to good information, right? Okay. So when self-doubt arises, it can be at any point in our career. It can be when we're first starting, or it can be when we've reached this certain level of success and we realize that in order to move forward, we have to change our business practices, because you are either feeling overwhelmed that you can't do all the things, or you're feeling okay, you know what? I am just plain old tired of dealing with late payments, or I am plain old tired of getting texts at 10 o'clock at night. There's so many different things that might come along the way that you didn't know at the beginning, because you just don't know what you don't know. So as we learn along the way and we realize okay, I've got to figure out a better practice for this. I've got to draw a new boundary for this. These can happen at any time. It can even happen when you feel like your business has reached a great level of success, and that you had, had built yourself up to a point where like, yeah, I know what I'm doing here. This is good stuff. And then a new problem arises that you've never thought about before. So self-doubt can look like so many different things, right? But when self-doubt creeps in, what can we do? Well, we've got choices, right? The most natural choice, and perhaps not the best one, Christy says, that's where I am right now. I feel you, Christy. The most natural reaction, right, is to spiral into that self-doubt and to listen to that tiny voice and to question ourselves about our choices. Maybe it's not the most natural one for you, but for many people, that is the natural reaction. That's the spiral that we go into, right? But what if we could make a different choice? And here are 3 steps that I think you can use if you've struggled with this, right? So step number 1, you can hear her meowing over there, is to recognize the signs. What does self-doubt look like when you're struggling? It looks different for everyone. Are you having self-doubt right now? Do you want to come up? Okay, you guys are getting a visitor today. All right, self-doubt. Just to keep her quiet. All right, what does self-doubt look like for you? Does it mean that you are, do you feel your anxiety levels rising? Are you having trouble sleeping? Are you reacting instead of responding? There are so many forms that self-doubt can take, and it's different for everyone. So it's really important that you learn to recognize the signs of self-doubt that are unique to you. So for me, the signs that I have to keep an eye on are healthy sleep. So if I'm not sleeping well, I know you can't drink my coffee. Oh, sorry, this broadcast is just crazy pants today. I know that if I'm having trouble sleeping and I am laying awake at night and just my mind is spinning for hours, right? I know that that is a sign that I am struggling with self-doubt and that I am not taking the steps that I need to take in order to get myself unstuck from that. Ooh, these are good signs. Okay, right? Meredith, you're saying self-doubt makes me procrastinate. I think that is a super common thing. I get that. And procrastination can come in so many different forms. I did a post about this, I think 3 weeks ago, about the different forms of procrastination. And Grizz is getting Siri to come up on my computer. I didn't understand that, Siri says. And so that procrastination can be a sign that you are doubting that you're on the right path. So when you look at your to-do list and you're noticing that, okay, I have not done any of these things, then we can name that. So your first step here is to really recognize the signs. What does it look like when I am feeling stuck and I am doubting myself? That's step number 1. Step number 2 is to step back and evaluate. So once you recognize that sign, so for me, it's the lack of sleep, right? It's the brain spinning at 11 o'clock at night, and I've been sitting in bed going, oh my gosh, and I'm thinking of all these things. So it's recognizing that specific feature that's unique to you, recognizing it first, and then you have to learn to step back and evaluate, and you have to really ask yourself some questions here. You have to ask yourself, is this true? Okay, so what is that self-doubt? Maybe in my mind, that self-doubt is, oh my gosh, this person is not responding to you because they don't like you. What a terrible thing, right? Especially if it's a client that you've worked with, it's a student, they are not responding to you because they don't like you. Okay, so we recognize the signs, right? Whatever symptoms you have, you step back and you evaluate and you ask yourself, is this true? And be honest. Do you have proof that this is true? Most often, the answer is going to be no. And then you can ask yourself, what would happen if I released this thought? Would it change who I am as a person? Would it change who I am as a human being? Most often, the answer is, okay, well, it wouldn't change me at my core, but it would definitely change how I feel. Right? Hey, I see that Elizabeth is saying yes. So for you, some of the symptoms are sleep and then feeling like you're slogging through molasses, right? Like, so feeling like you're moving at a snail's pace, right? Not being able to find that momentum forward. Okay, so we've recognized the symptom. We step back and we ask ourselves these questions, okay? I want you guys to write them down. Is this true? Who would I be if I released this truth? Would it change me at the core of my being, or would it just change how I feel? Good to think about, right? If this is resonating with you, if this is helpful, let me know. Give me some emojis. Give me a little fireworks show with the buttons that Facebook gives you. Those little heart buttons. Those are my favorite. All right. And before we move on to step number 3, I have something that I wanted to share. And this is something that, this is not mine. This is somebody else. This is Kim Wessel, who frequently shows up here on the page in our broadcasts and on the posts. And she dropped an awesome bit of advice yesterday. You ready for it? It's great. Oh, wait, no, that's not it. Wait, here it is. Negativity is not allowed in this space. If you are having difficulty right now, it doesn't mean that you will be having difficulty tomorrow. Kim, when I read this comment, you shared this yesterday on a social media graphic that I put out, and it was really, really powerful, and I really wanted to include it here today. I need to make sure that I tag you in this broadcast to let you know that I'm using your words, lady. Thank you for sharing them with us. Just because you're having difficulty right now does not mean that you're going to have difficulty tomorrow. And having that little idea in your brain can be a really powerful shift. And that brings me to, oh, here we go. Lovely stuff here. Yay. Yeah, I'm seeing it. Julie is saying, write out your thoughts. So much easier to analyze what is truth and what is not. I do it and it helps, right? Tara says, self-doubt and evaluation is what I've been thinking about ever since reading through the Winter Mastermind Form. So good. I can't wait to get started. Okay. Thank you, Grizz. She in protest, she just knocked over one of my chapsticks. She's here judging. All right, you guys ready for the third tip here? The third tip is to create new habits and new reactions. Maybe that new habit is what Julie said. Maybe it's writing down your thoughts and analyzing them and thinking, is this true? Maybe that new habit is stopping yourself and thinking, you know what? Just because this is true right now doesn't mean that it's going to be true tomorrow. And this is my favorite. I like this little new habit. You know those little pop-ups that happen on your computer when you try to do something that it doesn't want you to do? I want you to think, what would it be like if in real life we had these little action-blocked pop-ups that came up in front of your face? So that when you started spiraling into, look at her little ear, like right there. If you started spiraling into a cycle of self-doubt, that you could see that little pop-up show up right in front of you, and it would say something like this. Not feeling boss enough? Action blocked. Based on previous history, you have been permanently blocked from self-limiting beliefs. So you are completely forbidden from using phrases such as, this is too hard, or I can't figure this out, or I'll never make this work. Tell us if you think we made a mistake. And then you get a choice. You can either deal or you can ignore. Wouldn't that be fabulous? Yes, good stuff. Thank you, Stephanie. Right? New habits, such a huge challenge. Setting these new habits into place, yes, it is super challenging to do so, isn't it? All right. So here's the deal. New year, new content, all kinds of stuff coming your way, guys. And if you have struggled with setting the boundaries, and if you've struggled with being in that spiral of self-doubt, right, Grizz? Exactly. I want you to know you don't have to stay stuck, right? So think about those 3 steps real quick, right? Recognize the signs. What does that self-doubt look like? Know the symptoms. Yes, I will keep petting you, Grizz. Good job. Then I want you to step back and evaluate. Write it down. Think it through. Ask yourself, who would I be if I released this thought? And then learn to create new habits. That's right, Grizz is like, you're going to create this habit of always petting me. Next Wednesday, you have to stay on the other side of the house. So creating new habits. And then remembering this super important idea. Negativity is not allowed in this space. And just because you're having difficulty right now, it doesn't mean that you will have difficulty tomorrow. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me in this broadcast. If you found this valuable, if you appreciated the content here today, please let me know. Maybe let me know what your favorite tip was, or set an intention and let us know what you're going to be working on this week in order to move past those blocks that might be happening in your business. And if you enjoyed this a lot, maybe share it with a teacher friend who could also benefit from this advice. That'd be great. So again, if you want to get a hold of the good stuff, the Coach Sarah brought will send them your way. So if you haven't already, make sure to put a doubt below, and then the Coach Sarah bot will message you here on Messenger, and she will send you those 3 links that I mentioned. I wanted to explain the 3rd link real quick here, right? The 3rd link has to do with these like very pretty social media graphics that I've created. If you are like trying to save time and you want to be able to create social media graphics really quickly, because I batched like 2 months worth of content on Sunday afternoon, there's going to be a link that shows you the templates that I'm using. They're pretty cool. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you. I'm so glad that you're here. And I can't wait to keep working with you all throughout the year. So catch me live later on every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern, right here on the business page. And if you enjoyed today's broadcast, let somebody know about it. Thanks so much for joining us. Again, my name is Sarah Kimball. I am a business strategist and mindset coach for music teachers and online music creators just like you. And I appreciate you being here today. So we'll see you next time, guys. And in the meantime, stay creative and stay you. See you next time.